Action Report, Imperial Russian Submarine Orel, November 1945. Moved into assigned fleet area at Central Atlantic Gap to relieve Utka, who had to return to port for repairs. At 0300 hours on the 6th, radar operator reported several large contacts north-northwest, 20 nautical miles, moving at 18 knots. Speed and size indicated warships, plotted intercept course for identification, diesel engines all ahead flank. Made visual contact at 1900 hours the same night, 2 large American warships. Radar detected no escorts. After brief deliberation with command staff, rang for battle stations and orders given to dive to periscope depth. Identified 2 damaged American battleships by silhouette against the setting sun. USS West Virginia listing and super battleship USS South Carolina confirmed. No escorts. Ordered attack run and fired a full spread at 2500 meters, followed by crash dive. Hydrophones confirmed 4 impacts. Returned to shadowing overnight, radioing enemy position and condition to headquarters. I've created an escort fleet under Admiral Kuznetsov, which is operating around Borneo in the Pacific, and his mission is to hunt Australian submarines, which have given us a bit of grief, but we have managed to land most of the troops in Borneo, and once they are combat effective once more, because we have taken a few losses here, then we will be beginning to clear out the Australasian positions here, and then effectively we'll slowly make our way across to the other islands to counter the Australasian expansion into Indonesia and liberated territories once more. We've got, have we got the troops already for the American theater? No, the troops from the American for the American theater are in Kamchatka and are on their way to preparing the naval invasion of the Alaskan islands. The Marines are a little bit behind, but everyone will need to get acclimatized. So that is going to take a little bit of time. Because of the fact that they just came out of Central Africa, so that'll take a minute. However, the rest of the Marines, I think, we're ready for the naval invasion. So now we just need the fleet in place, and I am trying to remember which fleet we had in the area. Yes, we've still got some repairs to do on Borodino, but once these repairs are complete, then we can begin. I do want to, despite the fact that the American Atlantic Fleet has been mostly shattered, I do want to make sure I have the full fleet available just in case anything goes oddly sideways. And we've also got the Northland Fleet, which is currently active hunting enemy ships in and isolating Ireland. So once we are, what do I have them on? I've got them on convoy raiding actually, which is going to be not particularly fuel effective, but this battle group should be able to, like these destroyers. I would love to take them on. So we'll be hunting some convoys, and we'll see if we can manage to destroy, to cut off supply, and to catch these destroyer groups that are operating in the area, such that the submarines can get back to mining. So that should help as well. Which means we are. We've also got the Tsar Vladimir, which is currently repairing after shakedown cruise, and the Vladzny, the lead ship of her class. These are repairing in Petrograd, and then these can reinforce the battle fleet around Ireland. But yeah, we're waiting for the other fleet to be, not this one, the other fleet to be complete, and then we'll begin the invasion of Las Palmas and start island hopping against the Americans. We do have some spotting enemy ships off the African coast in the western approaches, but most of them are either destroyer groups or scattered remnants of the American fleet that are heading to port for resupply. We also got 6 transport wings. So we can potentially, we can also potentially use the paratroopers to land in Las Palmas. But I think the Marines, the Marines are all set and ready to go for the invasions. So we'll give them priority for that one. The Australians have been operating quite successfully. Let's see if we can actually manage to. We're pushing them away with the destroyers, but these old destroyers are not necessarily set up for anti-submarine combat, so they can push them away, but they're going to have a hard time actually sinking them. We have lost 7 convoys before we could manage to 7 Indian convoys before the destroyers could manage to intercept. I may have to build more capable anti-submarine destroyers, to be honest. Let's have a quick look at that. We can go with ideally the cheapest possible old destroyers would do. So let's use anything that we can base this off. Let's see. Can we use the? We've got these 2. Can we use the Tvryordi class and begin with that? I don't think we can. Oh no, we can go without torpedoes. Okay. So in that case, it might actually be easier just to go from here. So what we need is active sonar. We need the cheapest gun that we can find. That would be the old 85mm rapid fire single light gun. And we are going to need, we have terrible depth charges. That is actually not great. Okay, yeah, we're going to need better depth charges for this. So for the time being, what we might do instead is, do we have a few, we should have a few naval bombers around. We've got 1 wing here. Do we have an airport? Yes, we have airports from which we can operate. So we'll bring the naval bombers over. And get them to start hunting submarines. We can probably also create a few more wings. Let's see if we have any naval bombers available. So if I'm going to be able to, where's Vladivostok here? Do we have naval bombers in storage that we can use? There should be. I have a lot of. We've got carrier naval bombers, quite a few of them, but these are actually, these are meant for the carriers. It might be. Here we go, PM2As. So we got 3 additional wings of naval bombers. I don't think I have any aces. I do. So let's get 1 up, and then these 3 wings can move here as well once they're deployed, and we'll start bringing in some support. I've got fighter wings. I've got close air support wings. How many do we have? Another airport here that we can use. What's the air situation over Borneo? Not much going on. We can, since we're going to be, the Indians have aircraft in the area, but we might be able to lend. What's the range on these things? It might work. So let's grab a few of the close air support wings. I mean, the whole thing basically needs to exercise, but oh no, hang on, these were scout planes. So that wasn't necessary. Where am I? Here we go. Close air supports. Yeah. So we'll bring in the somewhat experienced air wings. Let's get 3 of them. And we'll bring them over to Surabaya. And they can do close air support over Borneo from there. In fact, we might actually bring them here and instead divert the naval bombers around. Yeah, that's probably better. We'll bring them to Borneo and we'll divert the naval bombers around. And that'll work out. Okay, so we bring some aircraft in. The rest of the aircraft is supposed to be running. They should be able to run. Okay, we've got a few here as well. So these close air support wings need to need to run pilot exercises, and some of them get diverted. All right, so that's on the way, and then I think we'll wait until the troops are. We're moving the troops north here for starters, but they will immediately begin combat operations against the encircled Australian troops here. So Kanzin's 12th Cavalry is making its way through the. We do have to keep an eye on the situations here, but we're starting to make it's starting to make its way into the fight, and I think we'll clear out these, and then we'll begin pushing back the Australians from the region. Oh, we have just lost 9 destroyers, and it looks like the whole Australian Navy is operating in the area. That means we have to actually stop convoy escort actions here for now. Get the destroyers into port, and we will have to divert shipping. I did not know the Australians had this much of a navy to them. Let's have a quick look what we know about the Australians. Yep, they actually have a very sizable navy. So I had penned the Australian Confederation as not as a major naval power. So with that, after that setback, and yeah, we are probably going to be losing 2 more destroyers here. After that setback, we are going to have to start bringing in the main fleet, which means we have managed to land the troops on Borneo, but we're probably not going to get any further than that. And with that, are we actually intercepting anything here? Lost someone. The fleet's still just operating in the area, but hasn't really. I might put them back on. I might put them back on patrol, honestly. And they are set to medium risk engagement, so they should be able to go and find yourself something to shoot at. This fleet is not yet ready, but we are going to probably be sending Kolchak's fleet. That should be enough. 6 battleships, yeah. We might send Kolchak's fleet into the Pacific afterwards, or we will send the new fleet over. Okay, here we've had some success. We've sunk 12 American destroyers, and we're still engaging a few more things, mostly convoys. But one of the destroyer groups has been dealt with, which means that I think the overall enemy, there's still some enemy ships operating in the area, but it's not an awful lot anymore. So once we've cleared out the destroyer groups here, and we are hitting convoys and convoys. We do have an ongoing naval combat. This is the submarines chasing away one of the Canadian destroyers. A lone Canadian. Here's another destroyer being chased, and we've got a heavy cruiser and a destroyer. Have we done any damage to the Pensacola? Not quite, but one of our submarines has been spotted and has taken some damage. So overall, they're disengaging from here because the Pensacola does have destroyer escorts. So we do have to keep a bit of an eye on the ongoing naval combat here while we're still clearing out vast remnants of the enemy fleet operations, and obviously we don't know when the Americans are going to come back with major forces. But in the meantime, 9 Canadian convoys have been sunk by the battle group that is operating in the area under Admiral Kedrov. And what is this? That's a destroyer. That's all slightly out of range for us until we have the forward bases. But for that, we are going to need Borodino to be repaired, and we could detach Borodino, but it might still take a little bit of time. Okay, we have lost 11 destroyers in the area. The rest have been sent to port after the Australians have shown up, and I think the first thing we're probably going to be doing here is attack the Australians from the air. I do also have some scout planes that might have range Let's bring them over to Palembang, and we're going to get some. We're going to get some recon over the areas. I'll distribute them. Actually, let's get 2 over this region, 2 over that region, and 2 over Borneo for some aerial recon. Okay. We've got 3 cast wings, which are going to begin close air support. And we've got 1 torpedo bomber wing, which we are going to bring over to Surabaya. And given that we, for now we'll cover the Java and Flores Sea with naval strikes, but we will see if we can. We'll see if we can get some. We're still going to get some extra naval bomber wings. Okay, they're standing by, so we can bring these over to Surabaya as well. And then 1 more naval strikes on here, and 2 more naval strikes. Let's see. We might actually send these 2 over to Batavia, and then get them to cover the Natuna Sea with naval strikes. All right, let's bring some air power in. We've cleared out the enemy positions, and now I think we can get Kanzin's whole group to begin operations against the Australians here. So set up, and target is to retake the enemy port and for Indonesia, and with that we should be. I think with air support, this even though some of these are somewhat undersupplied, this should be not too bad. Okay, that's still the heavy cruiser being escorted, so these submarines are still being chased away. Battle group here, I think, is okay. Oh, there's a Canadian carrier group operating in the area. I think I'm gonna get you back on strike force for now, and see if we can intercept that, because that would be nothing has any significant damage. No, let's see if we can manage to intercept enemy shipping out of. We'll go back to Port and Brest for now to refuel. Let's see if we can manage to intercept this Canadian group. So the battle for the Atlantic is still raging. The Canadians have brought in a carrier group, and even though the Americans have scattered, we're still fighting our way through here. Total aviational mobilization is complete, and with that we can. What else do we have here? We don't need to pacify Ukraine. Ukraine is already pacified. This would we could request military access to and invite Denmark into the Moscow Accord. That might not be a bad idea, actually, because that would open up the Norway route. Let's get that done. Finland, to a lesser extent the other Nordic nations, have always been a threat to us. Situated in our most northern border, they are prime targets in Petrograd and an open route to Moscow after that. So let's make sure that we are securing this. That is also a fair point. Finland remains a military threat, and they are currently still at war with Norway, but they are literally not getting anywhere. So we might. That said, both Norway and Union of Britain have cancelled their non-aggression pacts. So getting Denmark into the fold is going to give us another foothold and further isolates their positions in the North Atlantic and in the North Sea. So that's more of a political move. We are engaging a few convoys here and there from the air, but the main task group still this one, and Borodino is at 84%. That might actually be enough for now, because I don't want to lose too much time. I think we're going to move to we're going to get this battle group on naval invasion support, and we're going to move them towards Marrakesh. And we have to get active. Which regions are we currently active? Let's get the region. You don't need. I don't want you to return to Marrakesh. I want you to be on the African coast on naval evasion support. So head there to the naval base. Damage on Borodino can be repaired later, but I do want to get the naval invasions underway so we can start increasing our range of operations. The other thing with the war in the Pacific still heating up against the Australians and in the Atlantic against the Canadians, we still don't have enough ships. This is for naval bombers, I believe. That would be speed or reliability. We're going to go with speed. Overheat limit. Let's get that done. And with that, we are producing carriers, but they are still going to be in spring 1947. So that is still going to be a bit of a ways away, unfortunately. The Rus class. What's the production cost for the Rus class? Let's have a quick look. Don't show me outdated. Production cost is 12,000. Could we make a cheaper version out of potentially? I'm just wondering. Hangar space. I could build something like this. That would be, it's not that much cheaper. So it would still take quite a while to get these produced. All right, so carriers are taking their time. So we'll have to make do with the surface fleet for the time being. But we are also repairing the Tsar Vladimir. And I think we'll cut short. We'll end the training operations here and get this group to join. And the other fleet is lurking here, waiting to see if they can find the Canadians to intercept. Have we got the Okuns covering the western approaches? We do. But once we've got the island chains, then we can push further into the Atlantic and intercept them a little bit earlier. Okay, fleet is underway. Towards Marrakesh, and once we have them ready, then we will be launching the naval invasions and start the island hopping campaign. Okay, the fleet is in place, and with that we will launch the naval invasions and get the Marines underway while Kolchak's fleet is providing cover for the operations, and we'll take on anything that tries to interrupt the landings. Everything else is still on the move, on the ground. We have combat results against Canadian destroyers, again in the Irish region. And we've now managed to... we found the Pensacola and her group. Okay, so that's what we're probably going to be watching first. It looks like Kedrov's fleet has found American destroyers as well as escorting the USS Pensacola. So that should not go well in their favor. Let's see if we can land a few hits from the big guns of the Patras and the Poltava, ideally, on the Pensacola. But right now we're dealing with the escort groups, which are not going to be standing a chance. And it's also the problem. One problem is positioning. We're a much larger fleet, so it takes us a while to get there. Naval bombers strike first. Oh, okay, it gets more interesting. We had a naval bomber strike against the Pensacola, and that has done some noticeable damage. But the Canadian group that we've seen earlier has arrived, and we are now seeing the HMS Hermes, a carrier, sending out their own aircraft, escorted by the battle cruisers Indefatigable and Princess Royal, and the St. George, the Canadian super battleship. So that evens the odds a little bit. But I think they don't have the numbers when it comes to the escorts for now. So that'll cost them dearly. So far we've landed some torpedo hits on the St. George, in the second sortie, but these are all land-based aircraft. But the first heavy salvos are landing on the St. George. So far, she's still fighting. It looks like the two battle cruisers are trying to disengage, and the Pensacola as well after that strike that she's been receiving. Our fleet is still larger, so we're still trying to organize it. There are a few cruisers which are operating the screening group. Three light cruisers, Ceres, Rainbow, and Niobe. These will need to be dealt with, and then the destroyers shouldn't be much of a problem. St. George has taken more hits from the heavy guns, and we have no damage to our main battle line in return. The Pensacola has managed to limp away. The Hermes is now trying to disengage as well, but the Canadian battleships are taking a beating. St. George is turning wildly. Indefatigable has come under attack, and the Princess Royal is listing extremely heavily, but seems to have made their way out of there. The Ceres has gone down, and the destroyers and the light cruisers are providing some screening, as well as the St. George just soaking up the damage here. And the Hermes is going to get out of this pretty much scot-free. St. George, even the mighty St. George is now starting to list quite heavily, and with that, the fleet has retreated. Our main battle line is secured and unbroken, and I would say this was a Russian victory in a significant naval battle off the coast of Ireland against a Canadian carrier group. We've conducted ourselves well. We have lost one of our destroyers and 5 aircraft, land-based aircraft these are. But we've sunk 18 enemy destroyers, we've sunk the Ceres, and we have done significant damage to Niobe and Rainbow, as well as the St. George, and the Princess Royal is effectively out for months. So hunting, we'll keep on hunting in these grounds. We do have some damage to our ships that I am keen to repair, but we'll stay in theater for a bit longer and see if we can manage to catch any of these ships on the retreat, or if they manage to run into some of our mines. That would be ideal as well. Balski Savod, we can actually do the carrier tasks now. Because we can't do this one yet. So standardized carrier parts, which is reducing production cost. Unfortunately, that seems to be not a that's a feature not of the production line but of the actual design. So it only impacts the next carriers we produce. We have managed to sink a convoy, but other than that, we haven't been particularly successful. They have managed to sink some of our convoys as well, but we should have, we have aircraft now operating in the air zones. The naval bombers here, naval bomber wings here, and the third scout group that is way too far away. So that would be not the one on Borneo. The one for the Java and Flores Sea, that needs to go to, they need to go to Surabaya and operate out of there, because that or Celebes might work as well. Or maybe even East Borneo. Let's go to East Borneo, operate out of there. That might be a little closer. Okay, troops on the ground are still making their way towards the front lines. We still haven't managed to fight our way through to replenish their positions, but we have sunk a few convoys on the way. The first battle group has successfully landed and taken the Canary Islands without enemy resistance. And now the question is, how much resistance is there in Madeira, which has been, I believe, the major American fleet base. So let's see if we can. If we can land with some big gun support, preparatory fire from the battleships, and then the Marines are going to be landing. And if I can, there we go. We have we have an American tank division here actually, the 256th Flying Dutchman, is dug in relatively heavily there, but they should be getting bombardment from the battle group. Not sure why we're not. Let's just bring the battle group over and help with, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be needed. The experienced Marines should be able to deal with these 2 American divisions without too much trouble. But we're bringing the battle group in anyway. They can provide. There we go. Naval gunfire, and there is still a Canadian. Some Canadian tanks have been landed on the shores. Rushed in trying to help out to defend, but not standing much of a chance. And with that, I do have to look at the naval combat as well. Yeah, I think Funchal is going to work out pretty well. So that's all good. We are attacking, what is this? The New Mexico with a few destroyers escorting now, operating in the western approaches as well. And here we are engaging another American destroyer group, but unfortunately it seems like, no, we have actually managed, okay, I missed that. We have managed to intercept, the, this was the Russian main battle group. We have managed to catch the enemy on the retreat. We have sunk the Hermes. We've sunk the St. George, as well as the Indefatigable and the Princess Royals. So the whole enemy battle group has been destroyed. That is a significant victory over the Canadian fleet, and that just leaves the question of, it's only so many theaters you can follow at the same time. How much navy do the Canadians no longer have a navy? So the Canadian Navy has been defeated. Which means we can probably soon begin bringing this battle group, which is still currently doing some cleanup operations here against destroyers. They're still American. What are we fighting here? Yep, there's still the New Mexico operating in the area. But I think overall we've pretty much got this, and we can then begin. We can then have a decision to make. Either we split our forces and send the battle group over into the Pacific, where we are continuing to lose convoys to enemy submarine operations, and we know that the Australian fleet is in the area, or we keep both battle groups in the Atlantic, and keep hunting the Americans. We'll see. For now, we will be completing the attack on Funchal, and that has been completed. Defenders have been pushed out, and we can now conduct further repairs on the Borodino and begin projecting power out of here. So with these forward bases, the next one would be the Azores, which means the Marines that are here are immediately going to begin planning a naval invasion towards the Azores. And can I get these 6 divisions assigned, please? Let's see. I cannot. Oh, that's because the old orders are still there. That's why. Let's delete those. And then these 6 are going in that order. I am going to keep the Marines around here for now, and we have a few more air attacks against enemy shipping here across the lines. There's a lot of shipping going through this region, so I'm actually tempted to. We've got this submarine group. I think I'm going to. We're going to remove that region. I'm going to bring them over to our naval base in the Canaries, and we can get them on convoy raiding in the African coast region. So there they have the cover from the air, and they have the cover from the battle group. So next step forward is going to be the Azores, and this is probably the naval base. This is going to be our main naval base of operations. So we'll be building up the Azores and then clearing out the Atlantic positions, we might just have to leave the situation here to the air and continue naval operations and scout operations. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Continue air operations here in the region. We've got some friendly destroyers that are helping out, and obviously the aircraft are helping out as well. But these submarines are sneaky, and the Australian submarines are not easy to catch, unfortunately, which makes bringing in reinforcements always a little bit more difficult. But we have the troops in place now, and I think we can start launching the first attacks against the Australians, and see if we can push through. We can push through their positions and break their lines and liberate the rest of Borneo for Indonesia. Right. But we do have to keep an eye on the naval combat, just so I don't miss things. Where the Kedrov's fleet has caught the New Mexico. Where are we? At the western approaches. So New Mexico and her escort group is coming under heavy fire, and New Mexico has been sunk without too much trouble. So that's another American battle group dealt with. We know that there are a lot of destroyers operating in the area, but not an awful lot of larger ships necessarily. There is some naval activity off the Iberian coast, and obviously across the Central Atlantic positions. But for now, I'm going to be sending in the ships. I'm going to send the ships in for repairs. And while we are planning the next forward attacks, and I am continuing relatively ineffective air attacks against enemy convoys here. But we've got the submarines now coming in to do convoy raiding actions against the troops that are flowing across the region here, and that should hopefully be quite effective as well. We are clearing out the last remaining enemy destroyers. These are just convoys. This is convoys. These are convoys and a few destroyers, but nothing significant. Yeah, it's mostly just destroyers operating in the western approaches at this point. So I think I can start bringing how far along are we with repairs? The Tsar Vladimir is almost ready. We've got a few more ships that we can bring along. So we'll be having 10 ships to reinforce this battle group, and including the Tsar Vladimir. And then I think what we can do is I think from here on out we'll send this group to the Pacific to clear out the Australians, while the other battle group is conducting North Atlantic operations. I think we should be fine with the older force. What did the Australians have navally? 2 to 3 battle cruisers, 1 battleship, a carrier, a lot of destroyers. I might just actually send the Borodino out and the old group, and let the more modern group take over positions here. Okay, that's how we'll do it. So we'll repair Borodino. And whatever else needs repairing, nothing else needs repairing. And then we'll send Kolchak's fleet into the Borneo region to challenge the Australians, and we'll let the other fleet handle the American positions. This is going to slow down our forward operations against the Americas, but I feel like the situation here probably warrants it. Let's see how we're getting through. If we manage to liberate Borneo without too much trouble, then I think we can. Relatively simply, and I think we have the numbers for that, to be honest. If we can liberate Borneo without too much trouble and take the port of them, then we can probably leave. Oh no, they're sending in reinforcements. Then we might be able to leave this theater out for now. These are okay. Yeah, that's the Australian battle group. Yeah, it is causing significant losses in the area, unfortunately. So we may have to bring the reinforcements in after all. Okay, for now we've got this battle group engaged still, but I think we've cleared out most of the enemy heavy shipping. So I think I'm going to get them all to sail in for repairs now. The Admiral Sharkov has taken some battle damage, and the heavy ships as well. And once the Tsar Vladimir's repairs are completed, then we will get them to join this group as well. So we'll repair both fleets at this point, and then we are going to might have to send a few ships out here just to balance these a little bit better. Then I think what we'll do is we'll send the old fleet to the Pacific, and we get the other fleet to handle the Atlantic operations while we are planning the naval invasion, which is still going to take a few days. So we've still got some work to do on that front. Meanwhile, we're conducting ground operations on Borneo, where the 26th Siberian mountains are working to, let's actually move north and cut off the Australians. We have managed to cut off the Australians here, which will allow us to finish them off. The other divisions here still need a bit of reconstituting, but I think the 26th should be relatively good to break through there. The proximity fuse is done. That will give us a 25% naval AA attack. And that is great, which also means, we've got a few more things going on here. The self-propelled super heavy howitzer. We had some pioneering, some progress, and some additional progress. So that's good to see. Well done. And we had some valuable insights and additional progress on the Project M as well for jet engines. Can we, how many, we've got 2 breakthroughs on naval. We could, what do we have? We could do fleet submarines. Not sure I necessarily want them. We could do modern battleships. That might be interesting as well. Or armored cruisers. Panzerschiff, that's a little outdated, really. An ice aircraft carrier. I see. This is the I forgot what it was called, but the Americans were planning something like that. Now I think the Russians are still somewhat reluctant with the whole carrier thing, and we can either focus on modern battleships, or we can focus on improving our submarine fleet. Fleet submarines. What would fleet submarines give us? What's the range on these things? It's mostly 6,500. That is like an updated cruiser submarine. That would actually be quite nice as well. Air independent propulsion, which would give us that is a submarine module for increased speed but reduced range. Not a fan. Aneochic tiles be a module for improved visibility, but this is kind of, no, I think we're going with the modern battleship. Let's get that started. Let's plan out a modern battleship for the Imperial Russian Navy. Okay, that's underway. We had additional naval combat, which hasn't gone particularly well against the Australians, and just a few operations left here of combined submarine and aircraft operations. I'm tempted to do a naval invasion of Ireland as well, but I think we're better off just bypassing Ireland completely and punching holes into the American position in the Atlantic. We've got some resistance in Morocco. Can we liberate Morocco? I don't see the option to do so. So that might happen after the Entente is defeated. So for now, what's the resistance situation here? What's the resistance target? 38%. What is our occupation law in Morocco? Oh, that's why. Local police force. That should solve it. Okay, that'll deal with the resistance. And we have how much longer? Still a fair amount of time, but that'll give us some time to get the fleet repaired, which we need to do anyway. And yeah, things keep going poorly here, so we'll continue the land operations, but I would argue that yes, we are going to need major fleet support in the area, because the air attacks alone don't seem to be sufficient to wear down the enemy. So we'll have to do that as well. We've got additional divisions here, so let's liberate as much territory as we can while the mountain divisions are moving north. Currently getting counterattacked, but it's not going to take long. Shukuro has fallen ill, and this is destroyers, some destroyers, and this is already over. Okay, so we can stay on here. We have the air support, so this should not be a massive problem. But we're fighting our way through reasonably quickly here. And I think we'll be having the Australians pushed back out of Borneo in no time. I'm not actually particularly keen on invading Australia. There is naval landing happening. Potentially near Batavia, but we have there are some troops in the area. But yeah, we definitely need. We are going to need the navy. We are going to need the navy in. We are going to need the navy in the theater. That much has become abundantly clear. And just to clear out the Australian positions. Another naval invasion in Borneo, but that's where we have troops ready, so that should not be an issue. Let's begin already pushing back the 29th Australian and prepare to retake the ports. We've got some political power, so I can get through. War support's at 96%, so that's fine. So I can get through the rest of the economic programs here. Got some additional oil fields, we can get that underway. I don't necessarily need the military factories, honestly, at this point. I'll take the dockyards, so that works, and then we'll just make our way through effectively the remaining tasks here, while we have some smaller operations going on. How's the repairs coming along? Borodino, not yet done. And this group can now... Okay, they're back on naval. They're actually back on training. Got another destroyer. So we're going to get that group to join with the other one. And then they will take on the Atlantic operations. And Borodino, once Borodino is repaired, we can head over into the Pacific. All right, here we are clearing out the Australian positions reasonably quickly. I think that is not going to last. Once we've taken the port, then Borneo should be secured. And we might just leave the troops on Borneo, because we're getting additional invasions left, right, and center here. Enemy landing near Bandung and Surabaya as well. But there's nothing we can do about that until we have the... Okay, they're holding there quite successfully. We are probably relatively out of supply here. Let's motorize that. We've lost the connection to the port, that's why. Okay, bring the mountain divisions. That's why we're out of supply all of a sudden. Bring the mountain divisions back. We're going to have to retake the railways and push back the. We'll try to hold position along the front lines and box the Australians in. and we get the 2 mountain divisions back to retake the territory here and push the Australians out of Borneo. But yeah, the fleet is needed at this stage. The fleet is urgently needed, and that will happen once the repairs are done. 24th Mountain has arrived, and I think the Australians have not managed to take Balikpapan, and with that don't actually have a port. So they should be reasonably out of food and ammunition in the jungle at this point. And we should be able to make a reasonably short work of them. Once that's happened, we should have the supply lines restored towards the east, and then we can make the final push against the port there. And I think that we might even be able to overtake these 2 divisions, and we don't have to wait for the 26th to arrive. Nope, they have managed to get there before us, so we do have to wait for the 26th to arrive. 26th is in place, and is pushing out the Australians in the south, 17th Military District of the Australian Army. And meanwhile, the 24th needs to recover some time, and we need to make a move. We have completed Masters of the North, and with that we can get back to let's get through these are just minor naval focuses, but we can now invite the Danish People's Republic. So right now, let's have a quick look at Denmark and the political situation there. It is a social democrat, like completely social democratic country, and as such, it is a democracy. But I think it is also strategically vital for us to have potentially another area of control over the North Atlantic. So I think that's valuable to do. Let's invite the Danish People's Republic into the Moscow Accord, and with that, I think we preclude the Union of Britain and Norway getting any further footholds on the continent. Finland remains an open question. There are occasional border skirmishes with Norway, but mostly it's peaceful. So not an awful lot going on, which means we can once again concentrate on the situation here, where we only have to push the 17th division up north, and then we can. And then once they're pushed out, we might actually start working on completely removing the Australians from this position. Canadians have relatively successfully landed near Bandung, and due to the overall situation, we can't easily reinforce these troops here, but we have to unfortunately make do with what we've got at the moment. Borodino repairs still ongoing, and the repairs on the Patras are almost completed. So the Kedrov's fleet is going to be moving into the Atlantic theater, and Kolchak's fleet is going to move into the Pacific, which will also serve eventually as support for operations out of the Bering Sea for the landing force in the North Pacific region. Right, we've cleared out the enemy troops here, so we should have supply again, mostly. Yep, we have supply again, which means we can now begin which one is the port? Here. So we'll have to begin the final assault, and let's see if we can manage to push the Australians north from here, such that we can attack the port from 3 directions. So we haven't actually invited them. We're just guaranteeing the independence of the Danish People's Republic. So that we'll have to do. All right. More naval combat results not going in our favor. We lost destroyers. I thought these destroyers they didn't have any mission. They're on hold. Have they conducted a port strike? No, it was in the open sea. Not quite sure why they decided to sail out, but unfortunately we have lost an additional 4 destroyers. And we are eagerly awaiting, after heavy losses, the arrival of the fleet in the Pacific Theater, and we are pushing the Australians back here into the port. And I think that is starting to look like we're struggling. Yep, that's because this is an extremely well entrenched and experienced division. So pushing these guys out is actually noticeably harder than it should be. Why don't we have air support over Borneo? Where did I thought I had... did we lose the airbase temporarily? That's probably why we're having so many problems. Okay, where did my close air support wings go? They return north probably, unfortunately. Okay, that might be the reason why. So I've got the naval bombers still operating. No, here they are. Okay, but we need them obviously back on Borneo, as well as the scout plane wings. We need them here as well. So now that we have close air support again, okay, now they do have joined the Moscow Accord. Perfect. That means we can probably invite them to on the economic front as well at some point. But now that we have the close air support wings back again, this combat should be going a little bit more in our favor. But unfortunately, at this point, the troops are exhausted. So is that within range is the next question. And the Republic of Lithuania Latvia and Estonia have joined the Baltic Accord. So there's another political organization happening. It's all under the auspices of the overall Moscow Accord. And we are proving to be the guarantors of peace on the European continent. In the Pacific, not so much just yet. The Entente is still holding on here. What I wanted to check is if my close air support has range. Yes, they do. So we have range over all of Borneo. So that should not be a problem. Okay, so let's wait and give these divisions some time to recover some organization. And we are going to launch another assault. This time, we're not going to give them any time to dig in. So we'll already begin further attacks here, because this time we're going to have air support. And that should deal some additional damage. Of course, we want the front line to be as wide as possible, and with that, with the aircraft in the air, there we go. What decision is available? It's the Economic Council. Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. There we go. And yes, I know there's an MIO available as well. We'll do that in a minute. Just want to complete operations here. Do we have the fleet available? Nope, not yet. Almost. Fleet's almost available, but the Danish People's Republic and Iceland, unfortunately, has passed on the deal. So they want to remain potentially neutral. Yeah, Iceland remains neutral, but Denmark has now joined the Moscow Accord, which opens up the North Atlantic route that we can potentially use to invade the Americas as well. Okay, fleets are in place, and that means it's go time for Vatutin's Marines. Off they go, and we've got some naval combat going on. Okay, that's the submarines hunting things. We've got another American battle group centered around some heavy cruisers operating in the north here, and so they're still trying their most to secure Ireland, and in order to provide them with a forward fleet base. We might have to deal with Ireland after all eventually, but let's see. For now, I'm keen to see the Marines landing and to see if there's any resistance. How's the Borneo situation looking? The enemy is concentrating around the port quite a little bit, and I do need to get additional troops in, and we are actually struggling to hold against General Winter's counterattack here. Well, we should be able to hold that, but I do want to get an additional mountain division in there, or maybe two, because I do want to get as much firepower as possible for the attack into the port. I think we can actually launch the assault begin launching the assault with the available troops, and run the counterattack here from the east as well, before even the mountain divisions are making their way there. So if we can take the port, and yes, the troops are exhausted, but so is the enemy, and we might be able to use this opportunity with air support to retake the port and secure Borneo. Meanwhile, the Marines are underway, and you are supposed to be on naval invasion support. Come on. Don't let me down. Stop repairs. Cancel repairs. Oh, no, sorry, that was the Borodino. No, the Borodino needs to be repaired. I was looking at the wrong fleet. This is the fleet, yes. Okay, never mind. All good. So Marines are making their way across, and is a single Portuguese division holding that. So that's absolutely no threat at all. So I think with that we will have that defeated very quickly under the bombardment of the big guns. We've decrypted the cipher for the Americans, and we have researched the more modern mechanized. Okay. Given that we're doing a lot of Marines, I am going to get some of this research done. Don't need anything on TOS. And we now control, once the Marines have actually landed, we will now control Ponte Delgada in the Azores. And from here, this is what we will be building up as our main forward operational base. So this should open up naval operations deep into the Atlantic, and we will start threatening American shipping lanes from here. But we are going to improve the naval base. It's a level 3 naval base currently, so we can upgrade that. I do want to get an air base going here as well. It might be worth improving the infrastructure here for supply purposes. And I want to get a radar station built here too. So all of these things have priority, especially the infrastructure. All right, so with that, we will be building up, and yes, we will be building that up as much as we can. So with that, we're building up the naval base in the Azores. From here on out, we'll have significantly improved power projection into the Atlantic, and we are. Where's the rest of the? Where's the rest of the fleet? So you stop operating for now. You stop operating for now. So we've got the Patras de Poltava, the Tsar Vladimir, and their escort ships with them. So that is a relatively powerful strike force, which now can start operating as strike force, and it is going to be operating across the Atlantic approaches here to start, including out into the mid-Atlantic, to start hunting the Americans, which means the submarines submarines are covering that as well. So we are starting to have quite a powerful group. I'm starting to get the first Carp class submarines out as well. So these are going to start exercising. In fact, there we go. So once these are trained up, then we will begin hunting operations of enemy shipping lanes. But for now, let's start projecting our power with Kedrov's fleet. And I think I might have to rename that fleet, actually. And we are going to send... Borodino's repairs are almost complete. We are going to we're going to send, once the repairs are complete, we are going to send that fleet into the Pacific to help in the Borneo operations, where we have not managed to take the port. So I think that warrants a second assault to see if we can push the they've got some reinforcements from the Americans. So we're going to run a second assault here in order to retake the port, liberate Borneo. We'll need to deal with the Australian fleet. And we've got a few things to design for the end of the episode. So we've got the T-54 series done. We have a few things here to make our Sviatogors better. It is quite the high impact obliterator cannon. That sounds fascinating. Okay, this is something for. This is something for hard attack against other super heavy tanks. Don't need that, but this is all Sviatogor things, and I'm kind of tempted to go along. I do at some point need to get the engine upgrades researched as well. But I think we're going with the Sviatogor improvements. But we do have to design ourselves a T-54 and derivatives. So that reduces supply. This is even better. Transmission improvements, entrenchment, org, and HP. And I don't need this one. So these three we're going to be doing. Let's start with this one, which is also improves our movement in difficult and not so difficult terrain. I'm going to use Potilovets, but I don't really need much of there because I think it's pretty much fully researched. The Canadians have reinforced near Bandung, and Java is becoming increasingly difficult and might require Allied troops to hold. So definitely, what do we have here? The Imperator Alexander I is finished as well. We're going to get her training in the Gulf of Finland, and once she's completely trained up, then she can join the fleet in the Central Atlantic, and we will have 2 super battleships operating in the area. Does that mean we have some free dockyards? Not really, but I think the next thing, first of all, we've got another MIO trait. This is. What did we use this for? Sokrost. Was it for transport planes? Right. That's for the transport aircraft. So anything here that makes things better for transport plane production efficiency cap, sure, I'll take it. Let's design a T-54. So we have the quick look. I haven't done a new tank in a while. I don't think I can do flame tanks on modern tank chassis, but I'm not entirely certain. We haven't touched the. We don't need the T-50As anymore. I think we're not running any light tanks. So let's have a quick look at the AS1s. We're going for wet storage. We had the fuel drums in, and the sloped armor. Okay. Let's begin with the T-54. We have 500 army experience, so we can do whatever we want here, really. It's the modern turret. There's not really a change in that. And we might actually look at some speed at this point. I think Christie is the better choice here. Riveted armor. We could go up to welded. I think that's worth it for additional armor. We currently have gasoline engines. Is it worth hopping over to the diesels? We could. Yeah, we're probably switching that to diesel engine. Heavy guns. The advanced heavy cannon is probably the weapon of choice here. Yeah. We could fit a super heavy cannon on this as well, interestingly enough. So that is I don't know what the caliber is on these things. Absurdly large weapon with unmatched performance. Let's see what it gives us. So this takes the reliability down a fair notch here. So that would give us a 42 soft attack and 49 hard attack. And the heavy, it's comparable. 187 piercing is more than enough. 247 piercings is overkill. So it's 49 hard attack, 42 soft, and this would be 44 hard attack and 36 soft. It's better. What's the reliability impact? 106.9, and this would be 102. What's the heavy howitzer? Yeah, heavy howitzer is for the SPGs. Why not? We're going with a no, we can't do that. That needs the heavy fixed superstructure, not the turret, not the modern turret. So I would need what's the difference? It's fine. I want to stick with the modern turret, so we're just going to put the advanced heavy cannon on it. There we go. Then we've got the advanced radio in there, and we have sloped armor, definitely. I wanted the extra fuel drums. Where are they? Here, fuel drums. And I did have the wet ammo storage, I think, in there. The additional machine guns aren't really making any difference. More breakthrough isn't really that necessary. The wet ammo storage really gives me a lot of things to work with. Stabilizer for 5% for 5 breakthrough points. We've got so much breakthrough, I think, at this point. Armor skirt's probably not worth the slot. Yeah, not really worth the slot. I think the wet ammo storage just to get the armor further up. Let's compare that to the AS1. We had an armor of 166. Yeah, we definitely need to get our. So we've got more firepower, more piercing, lower supply use, lower fuel usage, and faster. So I think we can throw the wet ammo storage in there, and let's see if we can maintain like a 7 kilometers an hour speed or something. But I do want to up armor this thing a bit while we have reliability to play with. And let's see how far we can push it. Still need a bit more, 150. We're less well armored than the AS1, notably. So we can push it, can kind of push it to the same range, but now we're not where we want to be speed wise. This might be overkill, honestly, at this point. We might be able to. I mean, these were heavy tanks. This is an MBT, so we might be able to just drop the armor ever so slightly for more firepower, and a bit more speed. I think is worth doing. 6.5 kilometers. That gets close to where we want to be. Fuel usage up, obviously, because we made the tank heavier, but supply use still down. We have a better breakthrough, slightly less armor, but a better gun on this thing. So that's the design that we're going to be rolling with for the T-54. Now from here on, we can just create a variant and can I fit the howitzer? Heavy howitzer. Yes, I can on the modern tank chassis. Hang on. Why is it? Where are all my modules? Did I not? Oh, sorry, that's the chassis. Yeah, it's the T-54. There we go. Okay, yeah. I want to create a variant of this one. There we go. And I want to trade this out for the heavy howitzer. The rest can stay the same. That compared to the T-54, same speed, everything, but it's got the howitzer on it, and that is going to be designated as artillery, which means there we go, 80 soft attack, 106 hardness, 150 same armor, a little less breakthrough. The Su-108, a modern self-propelled artillery. So that's saved, and we can do another variant where we are putting. I think it's the aircraft. The AA guns should be on the small ones. Do we only have the improved AA, or was there any? Oh no, the advanced AA is in the mediums. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the advanced AA. So if we compare that to the ZSU-85. And this will be designated as anti-air. The ZSU-57-2, or did we have a? There was something. Did we have an anti-aircraft gun in the heavies? No. So it should be this one. Yeah, I'm going to designate that accordingly. So this one would have air attack of 6, same air attack, slightly less breakthrough. Better hardness, slightly less armor, but it is significantly faster. So we still got some reliability to use with, so we can up the armor a bit on this thing, because I think 6.5 kilometers an hour was kind of our target here. So there we go. That should work. Double check with the T-54, 6.5 kilometer, yeah. So we have now, we've got same air attack, but better hardness, better armor. Everything else pretty much the same. Yeah, pretty much the same. So that is the ZSU-85-2 anti-air on the modern chassis. I'll save that. And I don't think I can do a flame tank, but let me have a quick look. Yeah, even with the turret, I don't have the choice to do the flame. I remember that for some reasons I can't do flame tanks on the modern tank chassis. Was it a fixed superstructure thing? No. So no, we can't do the and the modern turret type does only has the modern turret. Okay, we can't do that, so we'll leave the we'll decommission this thing. We'll decommission that thing, and we'll decommission that one. We now got the T-54, the Su-108, and the ZSU-85-2 replacing them, but we leave the AS-10 as the flame tanks in. So with that, we can now begin. We can now switch production. Oh, and we've got the Army experience to create a variant of the transporter. This thing can get. Let's see how far we can push this. We need only 7.5 kilometers on speed, so we do need to amp up the reliability back to 100. We don't need the speed, and we can get the production costs down. That reduces the speed. Reduces the speed to. Improves the armor by 26 and reduces the speed to 10.8, which is perfectly fine. 300 XP, fine, I have it. But that thing is now going to, that's going to get decommissioned. So we're now switching over production lines from the B42-U to the B3A, and convert whatever you can find. And we are going to switch the ZSU-85 over to the 85-2, the ASU-152 over to the SU-108, and the AS-1 over to the T-54 modern tank. And we've got enough flame tanks for large. We're stockpiling these because we're not currently running any large operations. But yeah, we are producing more weapons than we will ever need at this point. Last question: do we have, if we look at the, do we have to switch the tank divisions around? Did I want to do anything? I can't remember what I was producing the support vehicles for. Right, that was for the. I think it's the. It's either the Armored Engineer Company or the Armored Assault Engineer Company. So I could do these. Let's have a quick look. If I go back. So right now we've got the regular engineer company in the heavy tanks. We can, for the, am I looking at the right one? Let's have a quick look. Okay. We can replace these, since we're at it, with an assault engineer company or an armored engineer company. Let's see what this is all doing. So this uses the armored support vehicles. We get 10% breakthrough, or we can get entrenchment and breakthrough from the armored engineer company. This would give us, I'm not sure if these are delta values or if these are just the attack against forest, rivers. So these are the assault engineer company gives us attack bonuses, whereas the armored engineer company seems to be more balanced and gives us attack and movement bonuses to a degree. But the assault engineers would actually be really making sense. 20% attacks on force, 20% attack in urban as well. I think that's not a bad trade-off. Okay, we've got this with the engineers as well. So that's 5 and 20 on urban. That is 10 and 20 and 10% defense on urban. So the armored engineer company is more balanced. The assault engineer company is more specialized. Yeah, I think the armored engineer company is the better choice here. So let's go with that. Then we can start employing these once we've switched. Oh, actually, I still have to switch these over as well. Armored support companies. This is modern self-propelled artillery. Do I have? Hang on. Am I looking at SPs right now? So we've got 2 self-propelled and 1 self-propelled AA. Right. So this is modern self-propelled artillery. No, wrong one. Modern SP artillery. This is modern SP artillery, and this is modern SP anti-air. So we've got these. We've got mechanized infantry, which automatically upgrades, and we've got the modern tanks. We've got 6.5 kilometer top speed. Everything is sorted, and we're using modern tank chassis, modern SPs. Flame tanks don't matter, and everything else. Yeah, everything else modernizes as it goes. All right, so. As we produce modern tanks, we'll start shifting things over. We have successfully taken the Azores. Now we're building out the forward base here, and we will begin significant naval operations. We're already busy intercepting. Oh, what do we have here? The USS Colorado. We are intercepting the Colorado. Let's see if we can catch her. That the submarines have spotted. An old American battleship operating alone again in the area. And I think we can actually increase the. We can actually include the Iberian coast and the African coast as well here. And it keeps it a little busy on all of these, but let's see. We'll hunt down what we can and clear out the Atlantic positions from here. The other fleet's going to make its way over into the Pacific, where we are still trying to kick the Australians back out of Borneo, but we need help against the Australian fleet. And we have also the troops in place in the North Pacific, and they're ready for the naval invasion. But we do need a Pacific fleet able to operate in the area. So with that out of the way, we're now, I think, positioned to start building up a third fleet. That isn't going to happen for a while. So we are still building the Imperazia Maria class battleships. That is going to happen in 1947, as well as the Rus class carriers. So that these 3 battleships, the 4 carriers, we might actually need another capital ship to cover the carrier group completely. We might split off one of the super heavies. Together with more modern destroyers, are going to form the core of the modern Russian fleet. But that's all still a year away. In the meantime, we've got to work with what we have, and that's 2 capable battle fleets, which we are going to operate, one in the Atlantic and one starts operating in the Pacific, clearing out the Australians in the south, and then moving north, or helping push back the Australians in the south, and then move north towards the Bering Sea for a naval landing, supporting the naval landing in Alaska. And by the time that is ready, we should have started making our way towards the American Eastern Seaboard as well. Greenland, we could have technically access to, but it's a very small base. There's very little supply. So we could launch a simultaneous attack from Greenland into Canada. We could take Bermuda and start liberating the Caribbean islands. We could liberate Haiti, and then use that as a launch pad as well, to land in Florida, to land on the Eastern Seaboard, and to land in Canada, and to land in Alaska, all simultaneously, and then bring additional forces across. But we need to control the oceans first for that to happen.